So because we are going to start 11th chapter of 10th class, areas related to circles. So some necessary things are there which we should be aware about. So we are going to discuss about them. First thing, which is that, is the circumference. Circumference of a circle. Circumference is the length. If you can see in the picture, from this point, if you are starting and moving forward and reaching back to the same point, the length which you covered is called circumference of the circle. Then is the center. The midpoint of the circle is called the center. Middle point of the circle, as I have been marked here. This point is the midpoint of the circle, so this is the center of the circle. Then is the diameter. Diameter is the line which is touching one side of the circumference like this. This is the circumference. From here it is starting, it is touching the center and going across the center and reaching to the other point of the circumference. So this line which I have drawn touching this point of the circumference, going through the center and touching the second other point of the circle. So this is called the diameter of the circle. This is the diameter of the circle. Next is the radius. This is our center, midpoint of the circle. This is the center of the circle. From one side of the circumference, from some point at the circumference, when we are drawing line till the center, only half. It is touching to the center, but only half. When half is there, this is called our radius. This is our radius. When line you started from any point of the circumference and touching to the center, this line is called radius. If you draw some other line, some other radius in the same circle like this I have drawn, both lines are touching to the circumference also and center also. So when you draw this type of part in the circle, this make sector. This make two sector. This one is also a sector. Inside this part is also a sector. One is a big part, other is a small part. The big part which is there, it is called major sector. Major means big. Major sector. And this is a small part, so it is called minor sector. Minor sector. This is the center, a radius, another radius. This is our major sector. Major sector means big part. This is the small part. This is minor sector. Major sector and minor sector. Next is this is our center. If on any point of the circumference, any 2 point we are taking on the circumference and joining them like this line I have drawn, but this line which I have drawn, it is not touching to the center, it is going away from the center. So in this way, whatever area, whatever part has been formed, that is called segment. Two segments are there. This is major segment, big segment, major segment, and this is small segment. It is called minor segment. Minor segment, major segment and minor segment. When the line touching to two side of the circumference, but it is not touching to the center, it is going away from the center, at that time the parts which will be formed, they are called segments. One will be a big segment, it is called major segment. One will be a small segment, it is called minor segment. And this line which we have drawn, line which is not touching to the center, that is called chord. Like this is our center, a line has been drawn from this point to this point like this. It can be formed anywhere in the circle. So this line which we have formed, it is called chord. This line is chord. This is the major segment, this is the minor segment. Major segment, minor segment, and this line is the chord. So all these things are very important. You have to keep in mind when you are learning areas related to circles. When you are learning this chapter, you need to be careful about these parts. The line which is touching from one side of the circumference, then going through the center and touching to the other part of the circumference, that is called diameter. When two radius have been formed, it will make two parts of a circle. One will be the major sector and the other will be the minor sector, because it is touching radius always touch the center. When radius is touching the center, it is forming major sector and minor sector. Radius is the line which started from the circumference and reaching to the center only. It is not crossing the center. When the line have been formed on two sides of the circumference, but that line is not touching the center, at that time it is forming segments. One will be the major segment, the other will be the smaller segment, which is called minor segment. But one is major segment, other is minor segment. The line which we have formed away from the center, that is called chord. Line which have been drawn away from the center is called chord.